today we will discuss a new topic, that is multicollinearity. So you have studied autocorrelation, you have studied heteroscedasticity, and this is in relation to the violation of one important assumption of ordinary least square. So what do you do under econometrics? Under econometrics, you are trying to find out the parameters of economic relations, and this estimation of parameters is done by a major technique which is called ordinary least squares. So what do you do under ordinary least squares? Under ordinary least squares, you try to minimize the deviation of observations from the actual regression line. Okay, and once you derive such estimates, suppose you have this relation y is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 x plus u. You are trying to find out what the values of beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat using the ordinary least squares. And once you do such a process, you will get beta 2 hat is equal to n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma x squared minus sigma x the whole square. This is your beta 2, and you have formula for beta 1 also. And Gauss-Markov theorem states that among all the class of linear unbiased estimate, beta, the estimates that you obtain from OLS has what the minimum variance. That is, these estimates are best linear and unbiased. And this Gauss-Markov theorem is based on some assumptions. One is expected value of u is 0. Second is expected value of ui uj is 0. Third is expected value of ui squared is sigma squared u. And fourth is expected value of ui xi is 0. Now when these assumptions are violated, many of the properties of what we say the blue properties, some of the blue properties are lost when this assumption is violated. Now, if you violate this assumption, you have the problem which is called autocorrelation, which you have discussed in the last 2-3 classes. And when this assumption is violated, you have the problem which is called heteroscedasticity. And we are not discussing this one. So, along with these are all assumptions related to the random variable. So, you also have assumptions in relation to other assumptions in the Gauss-Markov theorem when you apply ordinary least square. So one important assumption, the continuous assumption, suppose this is 1, 2, 3 and 4, the fifth assumption can be written as, we have already studied this, the explanatory variables are not perfectly linearly correlated. So this is another assumption. The explanatory variables that you are using in the regression model are not perfectly linearly correlated. Suppose you are having this model y is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3 plus u. So this is not a single equation regression model because we are having this is not a single variable regression model. You are having two explanatory variables here. The regression model assumes that the explanatory variables are not perfectly linearly correlated. That is, these two explanatory variables are not perfectly linearly correlated. You can write it as Rx2, x3 is not equal to 1. Okay, not perfectly linearly correlated. If these two variables are perfectly linearly correlated, it means correlation between x2 and x3 is equal to 1. So, if there is perfect collinearity between the explanatory variables, you have the case which is called perfect multicollinearity. So, what is multicollinearity? Multicollinearity refers to the existence of linear relationship among explanatory variables. If you have linear relationship among these two variables, you call it as multicollinearity. And if the linear relation is perfect, see for example, this is x2 and this is x3. Suppose this is 2, 4, 6, 8 and this is 6, 12, 18. So what do you mean by this? x3 is equal to 3 into x2. So 3 into x2 is what? x3 4 into again x2 is 3 into 2 is 6, 3 into 4 is 12, 3 into 6 is 18. So there is a perfect linear relationship between what x3 and x2 in this situation. So when you have perfect linear relationship, we say that if you find the correlation between x2 and x3, you will get it as 1. So when r x2 x3 is equal to 1, we say there is perfect multicollinearity. Okay, and on the other extreme, if you say there is no linear relationship between these two variables, we are using two variables x2 and x3 in the regression, and if the collinearity between these three variables there is no relationship, then we say that rx2 x3 is equal to 0. Collinearity between these two variables is equal to 0. This is called orthogonality. So correlation between x2 and x3 is 0 is the situation of orthogonality. Correlation between x2 and x3 equals 1. This is the situation of what? Perfect multicollinearity. In reality, correlation between x2 and x3 may lie between 0 to 1. If it is nearer to 1, then we should be very careful once you are running the regression. Clear? So in the regression model, correlation between the explanatory variables is referred by the term multicollinearity, and perfect multicollinearity means perfect linear relationship between x2 and x3. Then the correlation between x2 and x3 will be equal to 1. If the correlation between x2 and x3 equals 0, there is no problem in regression. It is the best model. We say it is x2 and x3 are orthogonal. In reality, correlation between x2 and x3 will lie between these two terms. So multicollinearity can be represented using a figure also. This is y, this is x2 and x3. There is no relationship, no overlap between y, x2 and x3. We say this is what rx2, x3 is equal to here 0, or there is no relationship between, you call it orthogonality. Now suppose a part of y is explained by x2 and this is x3, then what happens? X2 and x3 together determining y, there is some collinearity here. You can say rx2 and x3 is what? Low. And if there is higher overlap between these two, this is y, x2 and x3, and if this is the overlap, here we say rx2, x3 is very high. And if y equals x2 equals x3, there is complete overlap, and we say x2, x3 is equal to 1. These are the different cases by which we denote what? Lower multicollinearity to higher multicollinearity. This is very simple. Now, what are the reasons for multicollinearity? You know, multicollinearity is definitely a feature of time series data. The first reason is economic variables always show a trend factor. See, if you are in the upward phase of a business cycle, what happens? Prices, income, GDP, employment, everything will be increasing. And if you are in a downward spiral, then these things will be falling together. And if you use two macroeconomic variables, you are using price and you are using water consumption data as two explanatory variables, time series model, we will see that because of the time factor, these two variables will be definitely related over time. So the trend factor and or the inertia factor, once a macroeconomic variable is triggered, it will move upward, all the variables will be following suit. Similarly, once there is a downward trend, all other variables will also be moving downwards. So that's the first reason for multicollinearity. Second reason is use of lags in the model. So if you write an equation as y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 xt plus beta 2 xt minus 1 plus ut. Suppose this is consumption as a function of this is price and this is previous price. Definitely, you know, last period's price will be determining what this period's price. So there will be some correlation between these two variables. So in such case, you will have what? Multicollinearity. So these are the main reasons for multicollinearity. Now, what are the problems? So why are you very much bothered about whether in the set of data that you have to run the regression, is there a presence of multicollinearity. So if multicollinearity is present, there are some severe consequences. First is, if multicollinearity is perfect, you are unable to obtain the estimates of the parameters. See, the whole regression you have been running in order to find what the value of beta 2 hat. Okay, if multicollinearity is present and beta hat is given by the formula, you know this n sigma y minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma x squared minus sigma x the whole square. You have a data with you, you have y and x, and you find the value of beta 2 hat. Now, if multicollinearity is present, then beta 2 hat becomes indeterminate. The whole purpose of running this regression is lost. That's the first consequence of multicollinearity. Secondly, the variance becomes infinitely large, or you say the standard error of what beta hat becomes very large. And when the variance of standard error becomes very large, you know the third one is your test of significance is affected. Then the next one is your confidence intervals are also affected. So these are the 4 consequences of multicollinearity. So maybe I don't know whether you will be able to follow this if I am giving the proof here. If we have the chance for what interactive classes, when this what the situation comes under control, then we will discuss this more in the class. But anyway, I think you should just have an understanding of, if I am just saying beta 2 hat is equal to indeterminate, you won't get an idea. So I just make an attempt to prove, to show you how beta hat becomes indeterminate in the presence of what multicollinearity. If you are able to do that, work it out. Otherwise, you just understand the concept. So the consequences of multicollinearity. So what is the first reason? 1. Beta 2 hat becomes indeterminate. Beta 2 hat becomes indeterminate. So here I am using this model, y is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 x2t plus beta 3 x3t plus ut. Because you want what? You are showing multicollinearity, then you need what? At least 2 x variables. Clear? And this is the population regression function. And now you are writing what? Writing this, suppose this is the PRF. You are writing it in for solution, for solving the whole thing, to find out the value of beta 2 hat. I am trying to reduce this equation. So for that, I just write the mean value of PR, the average value of this population regression function. So y will be written as, what is the mean value of y? Y bar is equal to mean of beta 1 is beta 1, mean of beta 2 is beta 2, mean of x2t is x2t bar plus beta 3 into x3t bar plus ut bar. So you are just finding the mean of the variables. For all the variables you are finding the mean. Now this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now subtract 1 minus 2. What do you get? Y minus y bar is equal to beta 1 minus beta 1 gets cancelled. Here beta 2 is common. I can write beta 2 into, what is this? x2t minus x2t bar plus, what is this? Beta 3 into x3t minus x3t bar plus ut minus ut bar. Expected value of u is 0, or the mean value of the error term is 0. So y minus y bar is equal to beta 2 x2t minus x2t bar plus beta 3 x3t minus x3t bar plus ut. Or this can be written as, I hope you have studied this, y minus y bar is written as small y is equal to beta 2 into a variable subtracted from its mean value, you denote it in the small letters. So this will become x2t plus, what is this? Beta 3 into x3t plus ut. So in deviation form, the PRF becomes yt, you can write, if you write t it's okay, yt is equal to beta 2 x2t plus beta 3 x3t plus ut. So I have just solved this, or what I have rewritten this in order to eliminate what beta 1, so that you will be having only limited number of variables. So I can write this equation as the equation, the population regression function in the deviation form becomes yt is equal to beta 2 x2t plus beta 3 x3t plus ut. This is the PR. Now what do you want to do? You will have to find the SR, sample regression function. So sample regression function is the estimate. You are finding the estimate of these two. We will write beta 2 hat x2t plus what? Beta 3 hat x3t plus ut hat. This is the SR. Now these things I hope you have already studied. You convert in a PRF into SRF by adding what hats to these coefficients, because you are trying to estimate this from the sample. Now you want to find, you are trying to, now here you are having perfect multicollinearity. In this equation you are having perfect multicollinearity, that is x2t is equal to k times x3t. This is the situation, perfect multicollinearity. x2t is equal to k times x3t, and then you are trying to find out the value of beta 2 hat and beta 3 hat in this situation. So let us find out. So how do you find the value of beta 2 hat here? You will have to apply ordinary least squares. So you have studied this in the Gauss-Markov theorem, or you have studied this in the two variable regression model, where you have y is equal to beta 1 plus beta 2 x plus u. So here you are having two variables and you are using the same procedure. What do you do under OLS? You will minimize the error sum of squares. Okay. So first I will write it as, you will have to minimize what? Sigma ut hat square. This is what you are doing. So ut hat is equal to, what is this? Yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3t. This is what ut. Now I have to minimize what? Sigma ut hat square. So let me add sigma and square here. So first I will add sigma here, yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3 hat. So I am adding sigma and then I am squaring. So similarly I am adding sigma and squaring this. So this is what the equation that you get. Sigma ut hat squared is equal to sigma ut yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3 hat the whole square. Now what do? You have studied this in the two variable case. Now you will go for what is called differentiation. So what is the condition to find the value of beta hat? The condition is that dou sigma ut hat squared by dou beta 2 hat must be equal to 0, and dou sigma ut hat squared by dou beta 3 hat must be equal to 0. The first derivative of the equation must be equal to 0. We will do that. Dou sigma ut hat squared by dou beta 2 hat is equal to, how will you differentiate this? This is x raised to n. So differentiating x raised to n, you get n x raised to n minus 1. So here it is x square. It means 2x raised to 1. So that is, I can write it as 2 into sigma x square means 2x. 2 into sigma, the original equation, yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3t. And then this is function of a function rule. Now you will have to differentiate within this. So you are differentiating with respect to beta 2 hat. So this is a constant 0. What do you get here? Minus x2t. Okay, differentiating with reference to beta 2 hat, the remaining portion is minus x2t. This becomes 0. So first derivative must be equal to 0. So what do you get here? I am opening the bracket. I will get 2 into sigma, what is that? Or I can write it as, see, this is equal to 0. You know 2 is not equal to 0. 2 cannot be equal to 0. Similarly, here you have minus 1. So minus 1 also cannot be 0. So it implies, what do you have as the main equation? Sigma yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3t into x2t, that is equal to 0. Okay, and now opening the bracket I get sigma yt x2t minus beta 2 hat sigma x2t into x2t is x2t squared minus beta 3 hat into sigma x3t x2t. That's what you get is equal to 0. I can write the equation as sigma yt x2t is equal to beta 2 hat sigma x2t squared plus beta 3 hat sigma x3t x2t. This is the first normal equation. So this is similar to what you have done in the simple linear regression model. You minimize sigma ut hat square, that is you differentiate with respect to beta 1 hat and beta 2 hat, and you will get the first normal equation. Now what do you want? Now we will have to, this normal equation you got from this, dou sigma ut hat squared by dou beta 2 hat. Now you have to differentiate with respect to what? Beta 3 hat. The same procedure. So you can just try yourself now, and after that you can just check with this. So dou sigma ut hat squared by dou sigma beta 3 hat. So that is equal to, similarly, same as the first one, 2 into sigma yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3t into what? Differentiating with respect to x3t. So you will have minus x3t. This is equal to 0. So 2 not equal to 0, minus 1 not equal to 0 implies sigma yt minus beta 2 hat x2t minus beta 3 hat x3t into x3t equals 0. So opening the bracket I will get sigma yt x3t minus beta 2 hat sigma x2t x3t minus what? Beta 3 hat sigma x3t the whole square, or this is equal to sigma yt x3t is equal to beta 2 hat sigma x2t x3t plus beta 3 hat sigma x3t the whole square. This is the second normal equation. So if possible do study. I don't know whether this type of, there's the possibility to ask descriptive questions in the new situation, but please understand how you are finding out that the estimates become indeterminate. So what are the two normal equations that you have finally obtained? The normal equations are, first one is sigma yt x2t is equal to beta 2 hat sigma x2t squared plus beta 3 hat sigma x2t x3t. And what was the other one? Sigma yt x2t is equal to beta 2 hat sigma x2t x3t plus beta 3 hat sigma x3t the whole square. And it is from these two normal equations that you find the value of beta 2 hat and beta 3 hat. You just stick on to beta 2 hat. So what is the value of beta 2 hat? You have applied the Cramer's rule in your single equation model. So in the same case, denominator will be these coefficients. What is the coefficient of beta 2 hat? We are applying Cramer's rule, x2t squared. The coefficient of beta 3 is x2t, x3t. Here it is sigma x2t, x3t. Here it is sigma x3t the whole square. And here if you are finding beta 2 hat, you have to replace the coefficients of beta 2 hat from by the solution. So instead of these two, you will write these two. Sigma yt x2t, sigma yt x2t It was yt x2t and here it is yt x3t. Here the same thing, sigma x2t x3t sigma x3t square. So this is how similarly you can find the value of beta 3 hat also. I am just writing the value of beta 2 hat. So what is the value of beta 2 hat? Beta 2 hat will be equal to AB minus BC sigma yt x2t into sigma x3t square minus what do you get, sigma x2t x3t into sigma yt x3t, the whole divided by these two minus these two, that is sigma x2t square into sigma x3t square minus sigma x2t x3t the whole square. So this into this minus this into this divided by this into this minus this into this the whole square. And now what was your condition? X2t was equal to k x3t. Okay. So I can substitute it here. So what do you get? Beta 2 hat is equal to sigma yt x2t. This is x3t square. x3t or I can, sorry, instead of x2t I should write this k x2t is k x3t. Okay, into sigma x3t square minus, here you will get sigma, or instead of x2t I will write k x3t into x3t into what, sigma yt, what is this, x3t. Okay, so what do you get here? Divided by, here it becomes sigma x2t square. x2t is k square of, because it's k square, x2t square I can write k squared into sigma x3t square into sigma x3t square minus sigma, instead of x2t I can write k times what, I will write it as sigma k x3t into x3t what, the whole square. So look, what do you have here? Y sigma is there, 1k is there, x3t is there, and then x3t is there, then sigma x3t the whole square, 1, 2, 3 times x3t, 1, 2, 3 times x3t, 1 yt, 1k and 3 times x3t. So this is same as this, you will get the numerator as 0. And what about the denominator? Here you have k square, and how many times x3t? 1, 2, this is square and this is square, so 2 plus 2 is 4. So this is 2 times, the whole square is 4. So this is 0 and this is 0. So what is the value of beta 2 hat? Beta 2 hat is equal to 0 by 0, that is indeterminate in the presence of perfect multicollinearity. That is why you say perfect multicollinearity or very high level of multicollinearity is not what a welcome situation where you can apply ordinary least squares. So if you have data, you will have to check whether there is a presence of high or severe multicollinearity. If possible, you study this proof, otherwise just skip this and understand the most important consequence of multicollinearity is that the regression coefficient becomes what? Indeterminate. Okay. And the next consequence is the standard error becomes very large. The standard error becomes very large. So I am not giving this proof here because that is applied with the help of matrix model. So when we meet in person, we will discuss that. Similar to autocorrelation, heteroscedasticity, the variance becomes very large. So hence, in the presence of multicollinearity, standard error also becomes very large. The third consequence is that because the standard error becomes very large, you cannot apply what test of significance because t is equal to beta hat divided by standard error of beta hat. Okay, and when this becomes very large,